the listeners who might not be familiar with Runner, can you give us the
quick and
trailer level explanation of what
Absolutely.
it is?
I guess the quick explanation is Runner takes place on a planet called Omega. And the planet Omega has evolved not with a warrior culture the way we exist on the way we exist on Earth, but with a racing culture where disputes are settled through competition and speed rather than force. And, back in tribal days, this meant two people racing on foot across a field or something. And as society has evolved and the technology has advanced, now they race in these super high-tech vehicles with these, 100-person racing teams that are all supporting these drivers in these vehicles. And on the planet of Omega, once every 800 days, every country on the surface of this planet nominates somebody they call their proxy runner, and the proxy runner races on behalf of that nation in the Omega race. And the Omega race is a multi-day, 21-stage race all the way around the planet, and the winner of the Omega race gets to nominate the sovereign of the world, effectively the emperor. And when we start our storyline, it starts with the Avalonian Union having won the last 100 years of races. And every year they win, they get to make the rules. They direct more resources towards themselves. Their dominance grows. Their control and power grows. They're a superpower. But we enter our story with a down-and-out team from the nation of Corin. And Corin is a formerly very wealthy nation that has sort of been plundered by the Avalonian Union over the last few centuries and is now fairly poor. And they have this new young racer who's one of the best racers in the world, but he does not have a great rig. He does not have a great vehicle because he doesn't have the money for it. However, there's this technology, and this technology has existed for quite a while, but it's finally it's never really been used in racing because it's so dangerous. And the way this technology works is it allows you to see and navigate through wormholes. So if you are racing along and you see one of these wormholes, we call them pinches, a runner might be able to thread the pinch, and that will jump them, maybe 10 feet, maybe 10 miles, maybe 100 miles into the future. And they can win a race that way. And our friend Ozzy Vandal, who's the racer from Corin, meets a woman named Jada Tran, who is she's developed a form of the pinch technology that is slightly more stable and slightly more predictable than any of the pinch technology has ever been before. And this might allow them, if they can use it inside of the Omega race, to compete with the Avalonian Union. So it's a fun little sort of technology might lift you out of servitude storyline, which I think resonates a lot with the people in Web3 and is a really kind of fun X factor when we talk about, the potential for this story long term. There's other nations, of course. There's a nation called the Laurentian Provinces, which is a sort of frozen kind of tundra type culture that has been supplying energy resources to the Avalonian Union for a long time. So they don't win the races, but they often come close, and their close relationship with the Avalonian Union wins them spoils anyway. There's a more tropical nation called Gondwana. And the Gondwani people believe that racing is a spiritual experience. And so they only race on exposed vehicles like motorcycles. We call them skimmers because they float above they float. And not only that, but the Gondwani also have this other belief, which is that you can't race by proxy for someone. You can only race for yourself. And so the runner for the Gondwana nation is also the king of Gondwana, which is the only nation that does that, where the sovereigns race for themselves, but they see it as an honor principle to do it that way. And I think, some of these depths that we've created in the cultures of these different nations allows people to kind of find something that they identify with. And, and when they do that, they pick a team. And I think that's been really fun. It's been the basis of a lot of our interactions in the Discord, the way we're talking about kind of structuring community competitions in the future. And it's been a really kind of cool experience to watch people bring their own perspective to these nations and kind of take on the mantles of these nations as a personal identity.